got to play There and Back Again. Now, this is the
Hobbit There and Back Again.
Hobbit. So it is a roll and write. However, it's actually got the draw erase board. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, because board games are amazing, and that's what we do here at Legends of Nirvana. Now, Randy, can you tell us a little bit more about this game?
So this is one of the games I got to demo at Origins this year. It was released at Essen, and it was the one I was most excited to get in my hands on.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about it.
They were supposed to ship us a copy of it, never did, so I ended up buying this from our friendly local game store.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 2025 release. The Board Game Geek rating is 7.6 and rank of 4,468. It's a 1 to 4 player game, 30 minutes average length, that's probably about right, and age 10 and up, probably also about right, because each page, each story in this, which is there's 8 different chapters, is completely different as far as how it works.
Yeah, same mechanics, but the scoring's different.
Oh, and some of the mechanics even change.
Oh, okay.
Designed by Reiner Knizia. I think this is his first roll and write. I don't think he's had any before. Art by Lorenzo Colangeli.
I feel like we've heard that name before.
I'm not sure of that one. Published by Office Dog and Asmodee. Mechanics are dice rolling and open drafting. The MSRP on this is $34.99, which isn't bad for what you get. And then the cheapest pricing is from Miniature Market and Many Realms, which I've never heard of, at $29.99.
Yeah. So, cool stuff. All right, let's talk about quality components. So it is a roll and write. However, it has dry erase marker boards. It worked out. I think it worked out really nicely.
Mm-hmm.
It is a nice little book. It is only 4 players, which does make me a little sad. But overall, the dry erase are the pretty standard dry erase ones that we've seen in multiple things.
Yeah, they don't hold a lot of ink.
Yeah, but it does have an eraser, so that's a benefit. You do have custom dice. Now, you do get some cardboard chits for your food and swords. So, I mean, for a roll and write, though, I'll give it a 6.5. I think it's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and it actually has a 12-sided die too, and that's for some of the different scenarios that they have. So
I haven't got to use it yet. You've
Yes.
been further along in the campaign than I have.
We're the last 2 left to fight the dragon.
Woohoo!
So Smaug is still alive. I think we should have broken at the very last one, just like the movie did. I think. But yeah, I mean, it's each time you go to a new chapter, there's slight differences between the two. So like the first one, so far I think we've only had one that uses the pine cones. So and I'd even forgotten that was a thing in the movie where they were on the trees and Gandalf is turning the pine cones on the tree into grenades and throwing them at the dogs.
So what would you rate this for quality of components?
I mean, there's nothing spectacular about the dice or the cardboard. The books are really the main draw.
It's true.
I will probably give it a 7 just because I like the way the books and the way it's kind of chapter based. Similar.
Well, that may be more have to do with theme, but yeah, sounds good. All right, so moving on to theme. Spot on. I mean, you're literally going on an adventure every single time.
You're literally going through the story of the Hobbit.
Yeah, well, and that's just it. You have a different adventure, you have different goals. Like, it feels very thematic to me. I mean, I was actually sitting there reading, what am I doing this time? And things like that. So theme-wise, I mean, the artwork's really good. I think it's very pretty. It is a little cartoony, but you know what? I'm okay with it. It's consistent throughout, and I don't know, it feels a lot of fun. I really like the theme. I'm probably going to give this an 8, 8.5 for theme. I loved it. It was fun.
That's about where I am. I think that, the art is a little okay. I mean, it's not great. It's very cartoonish.
It's a little cartoony.
Very cartoony.
But they're going with the theme and it works. It's fun.
it is consistent, I'll give you that. And, what I really hope is that they take the same thing and continue it on for Lord of the Rings. That would be awesome. We get the Hobbit. Let's get Lord of the Rings in here too. Maybe it's got multiple books. But yeah, I mean this for the the packaging, the story. I mean, the way it's carrying through the Hobbit story is amazingly well done, and I just like to see more of it. So I'll give it an 8.5 too.
Okay. All right. So moving on to the rule book. Randy, you're gonna have to tell us a little bit more about that. But I will say, I like the little excerpts of what you're doing. There's reminder rules up here at the top of each of your books. So I think they did a really good job of like kind of the reminding aspect of the differences for the book.
The rule book's 30 pages in length, but it's got that really amazing feeling paper. It
looks really nice.
It doesn't feel like paper. It feels almost like
linen finish.
Yeah, well, it's definitely linen finish, but it's a very smooth, good feeling paper. I don't know what you.
And you said it was only retail is $35.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
35 is not bad for these books. With
I feel like that's an easy okay, this is a great Christmas gift ideas, guys. Yep. This is a good one. All right.
So the rule book, it explains kind of the overarching mechanisms and the fact that the things that you go through versus you connect to, because that's really the hardest part of this game is understanding you can't go through people. And
that first game we kind of stumbled in a few places, but once we got clarification, I think after that it became a lot more streamlined.
Yeah. So, and then it's got each different part of the book, so all 8 chapters are here to detail the rules that are kind of shorthanded into each player's book. So you could probably make it good from the book, but this will definitely clarify any questions you might have. So, I think they do an outstanding job with these rules. I'm going to go ahead and give it probably a 9.
Okay, awesome. All right, so moving on to the actual gameplay. This one's actually pretty great. So you have 1 die plus the players. You're going to have to look up which dice that you get based on the number of player count that you get. You're going to roll them, okay? And then me being the first player, I'm going to pick one. I think I'm going to take this hat. No, I don't want the hat. I'm going to take this zigzaggy. It looks pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to take this and
So the first mission, you're going to lure all the dwarves to Bag's End and try to feed them. But you get bonus points if you have the food for them when they arrive. If you don't, then you lose the points.
So you kind of want to get the food ahead of time because there is a lot of victory points that when you... So like this, and then since I went through a box that had an item, which was a food, so I was able to collect that. You can either take the... In this particular scenario, you wouldn't necessarily take a bread token. In other ones, you would. Because this one, you're just filling it up so that way the food is ready for the... dwarves to come and eat. Now, it is simple as that. You take your thing, you mark it on here. Now, with the first scenario, so when you guys get started, there is a couple of little points that we want to kind of think. You can start from any of the dwarves. So I didn't necessarily have to connect it to Bag's End. I could have decided to go this route instead, go further up on the board, as long as I'm starting on a dwarf. Now, the thing is, though, the dwarfs don't count until there is a direct route. Direct, right? You can't go through things.
Yeah.
Direct route from that dwarf to Bag's End, okay? Now, so that's kind of the key thing. So you can't, go through a dwarf and that dwarf continues. That's not
You're
how that
not
works.
building a circuit that's in series. You're building a parallel, if you will.
Yeah.
And that's where people were getting confused. When I've played it, is that they don't understand that if they draw the line going into a dwarf, they can't come out the other side of the dwarf and draw. That would not connect.
Yeah, well, you can. It just won't connect, and that's the key thing.
Yeah.
And so there's that piece. I do want to but that's the second, for example, though, you literally have a starting point and you have to continue throughout the whole thing. So each scenario is a bit different, so that's kind of really hard to kind of go into the rules. But yeah, essentially you're taking a die, you're placing it, the second player would pick their dice, and then the first player would end up with that remaining die, which is typically crappy. So
and the other thing to consider is like the first mission, food is very critical.
Oh, so
whereas
critical.
Swords are not really that important, they're kind of just bonus points. In the second one, it's all about swords, and the food is not critical, it's kind of bonus points. And later on, you're going to have other, like the pine cones become important, or, you know, just getting through without even
and I still think it's absolutely funny. When we need bread, no one rolls bread.
Yeah.
But when we need swords, no one rolls swords.
They all roll bread, yeah.
Yeah, and so I always think it's just, it's the luck of the draw, right? And I'm sure it's a little bit then. Overall, I've really enjoyed this quite a bit. I had a lot of fun with it. I will say, I do think there's a little bit tendency to speed wins the race, though. We've played a couple of games, and the person who kind of speeds through, even though they don't collect everything and shuts everyone else down, typically wins. So I'm hoping that's not the case, because it does feel... just doesn't make me happy inside. I'm a completionist. I like to complete the things. I don't like being in a rush. So there's that piece of it.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty consistent throughout that it may not be that you're rushing through the whole thing, but you're rushing to get to the higher scoring points and then backfilling. That was the strategy I found that has kept coming back in some of the adventures where, it's like, okay, well, I guess, that's the way we should all go then. If you can't win by taking out necessarily everything that's close by and working your way across the page. It's just get to the other side of the page, get the higher point value things first, and then go back and fill out. And that's what, has won in many cases. But, the other thing is not all the dice have paths on them, and sometimes you end up getting stuck where you can't move, and that's...
Yeah,
that's frustrating too.
Yeah, so it's interesting. That's the kind of the only little bit downside. So I hope they fix that later on, where it's a little bit more even hit. But the thing is I like to complete things. So if someone's going through getting all the endpoints and then ending the game, I'm like, but I didn't get to finish. I want to do all the things. So. But they do have mechanisms, like if you're the first to do things, you get additional victory points. So I never ended up in a stall. Like we never ended up with the, tie or anything. So that was helpful, but still. All right. Overall, scoring it out the gate. I really did like this. I'm going to give this an 8.5. I had a lot of fun. I will get this out often.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 9. I mean, the fact is we've had... everybody who's played it wants to come back and play it again.
It's true.
Adam is definitely
he wants to finish the series,
the whole story, and I think we got. I thought we were going to quit after playing it a couple times. Like yesterday, we ended up playing through almost the entire book. We got to the last two.
Well, and Andrew really enjoys it too, right? Yeah. So we all do. So it's a pretty good.
As did Alan.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good, solid game overall. Absolutely, it's definitely one I think I'm going to end up teaching next year at Gen Con. So so I think that will be fun.
Yeah, and I mean, our friendly local game store owner, George, hates roll and writes, but he liked this one all right, although he was frustrated because he did not get the concept that you couldn't connect through other doors.
Well, I mean, Amara was struggling with that for a minute too. Like she because we brought this over to my parents and my sisters actually, but we ended up playing, and we had to do a whoopsie, let's get it fixed kind of moment, but yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We had an absolute blast. Hopefully you'll come hang out with us again. We'll catch you guys later.
Bye.